but I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't you see, man? We need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
Welcome to Infantry-Mindset, where we don't make excuses, we just do it. You gotta get your daily dose of this bald guy, aka the babbler. As I'm getting older, I start to realize, man, I need to make an impression on the world. Sometimes we have hidden things that we don't know, qualities that we don't know about ourselves that other people might gravitate to. I always had good conversations. I mean, I could talk to anybody. Doesn't matter who you are, what you believe in, politics aside, or we can talk about politics. I can make a connection because I genuinely care about people. But I am rough around the edges. Will always be infantry. It's what shaped me. It's what molded me. It's who I am today. For the good, for the bad. Can't change it. Don't want to change it. For me, I always try to figure out the balance between empathy and determination, if that makes sense. I'm determined to make this YouTube thing work, so I'm not going anywhere. So if you see my video now, you're gonna see me a year from now, continuing to move on. Hopefully the videos get better. What is infantry mindset for those that don't know? Infantry mindset is just a mentality that when things are hard, you push on. Mentality that when you fail, you keep going. A mentality that you believe anything's possible. Hard work. You don't want anything given to you. I don't take handouts, never will. A lot of pride, a lot of integrity. I think everyone has an infantry mindset if you could just think that way. But you can learn to have an infantry mindset. It doesn't have to be a military thing. If you go in the military and join the infantry, they'll teach you how to have that mindset pretty quickly though. So it's like a college course on how to get it fast. Maybe as a civilian, you already have it, you just don't know it. If you're that hustler that started out cutting grass and now you have your own business, that's an infantry mindset. If you're that person that got fired and then got back up and got a better job, you've got an infantry mindset. You're someone that protects your family, loves your kids, have your beliefs, you've got an infantry mindset. Scary, but good time to be alive. Feeling blessed today. Family, friends, children. Man, God is great. God is so great. We need to say that more often. Though, if you find any value in this, or you look at this old bald guy and, you know, he's rambling, talking about halfway military stuff, halfway his opinions. If you can relate to what I'm trying to do, if you can see the passion that I have in my country and the views and my opinions I say, just give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a comment. What up, world? Good morning. Man, Who's excited? We have got how many days left? Today is the 15th. I think we have 14 days left, if I'm doing my math. No, actually, I think we have like 11 days left. Infantry. Guys, do the math. Put in the comments how many days left we have before election day. Let me know. Give me your thoughts. What has anyone done early voting? It's so crazy because, I know I can do early voting here in the great state of Texas. First of all, God is great. Life is great. I hope everyone's having a great day. I have decided that, it's for me, not only do I not want to do early voting, I want to experience election day the way it was meant to be experienced. I told my daughter, she's 7 years old, I'm going to take her to school a little bit late on November 5th. We're going to go out together. She's going to be able to see me vote. We talked about it, explained why it's so important. So I want her to be able to see the process. But I'm excited. I'm super excited. I hope everyone's going to get out there and vote. I don't tell you guys who to vote for. I just do your own due diligence. It's no secret where I stand. My brothers and sisters in the military, they support former President Donald Trump for the most part. I don't want to speak for everybody, but in the infantry world, we are very tight knit and we know who needs to be the leader of our country. We've got full dedication in President Trump. And I can't wait for November 5th where we can put this icing on the cake and really get this country pushed in a direction where it needs to go. And with that being said, man, I feel like every video I'm doing now is so intense where I'm looking at, the news, what's going on here, what are the polls saying, what's happening with Vice President Kamala Harris, what's happening with former President Donald Trump. And I said, you know what, today let's make it a little bit lighthearted. Let's look at some jokes. And so I came across a 1-minute clip of President Trump at the Al Smith dinner. And I said, man, you know what? I need to go back and look at this because I'm not too familiar with the dinner itself. It seems like a pretty big deal. Let's go back. Let's look into it. Let's get some laughs off. Let's see what Vice President Kamala Harris has to say. And let's just judge the two. Let's just see who's funnier. So with that being said, let's get into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring up a man who loves New York City. He is the Republican nominee and the 45th President of the United States, President Donald J. Trump.
I can't tell, guys. Were they booing? Is everybody laughing? You wonder because I see Democrats and Republicans. I'm not too well versed on the Al Smith dinner. Apparently, it's a really big deal, especially for the Catholic community. I believe the Catholic community. If I'm wrong, please, I apologize for that. But it looks like it's a pretty important thing, and I see a lot of faces up there that might not necessarily like Trump. So I think this is going to be very interesting. Mind you, I saw a clip of this a couple of days ago. That's what made me say, let me pull this up and actually watch it. But this is interesting. And then you also, in my mind, tell me guys if you guys think this. I always kind of ask when I see stuff like this, do the people really hate each other? Is it competition where it's like, okay, I've got my side, you've got your side, I have to do whatever I have to do, but in the end, we can sit down, eat together, laugh together. It's not really that serious, but tomorrow, just remember, I'm against you. And I wonder, when I see this, I wonder if it's that type of, it's not like they can't be in the same room and share thoughts and opinions and, just good perspective. I'm gonna look up some past dinners, past Al Smith dinners, so I can get an idea of what it was like. But this is the first one that I've seen. Put in the chat if you guys have seen this, if it's something that you notice. Does it happen every year? And if there's any specific speaker that you think I should go back and look at from past dinners as well. All right, let's get into it.
Thank you, everybody. Well, thank you very much. It's an honor. And they told me under no circumstances are you allowed to use a teleprompter. And I got up here and I see this is beautiful teleprompter. So here I am. But it is a tremendous thing. It's a tremendous dinner. I've come here with my father. So it was 3 times, but it was also many times before that, a long time ago. And it's a very special dinner. And you've done a fantastic job, Cardinal. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So I'd like to thank Your Eminence very much and members of the clergy, so many people I know. Speaker of the House Johnson, what a job you're doing. He's done a great job. Senator Schumer, good. Yeah, I supported him. I don't know. I don't know. He used to say that's true, and now I'm not sure he would, but I gave him his first check from an office in Beach Haven, and I was very proud of it. I don't know about lately. Now I was.
Wow, so they go way back, way back. Trump gave Schumer his first check, and now look at this guy. Look at how Schumer turned out. See, that's what I'm saying. He's got some deep roots, and just being a businessman and helping out both parties. I don't think anyone's ever thought, prior to Trump really running for president, I don't think anyone looked at Trump as being this huge conservative person that, was it's just weird. It's just weird, guys, especially when I hear all the rhetoric about Trump being racist. And man, I remember if you were a celebrity, it doesn't matter what color you were, you wanted to be around Trump. You wanted to gain his knowledge. You wanted to see how he was being successful. And it looks like he's helped out a lot of people. That is hilarious. He gave Schumer his first check. Wow. All right, let's get into it.
It was his first check. He was running, and I said, he's a good man. Senator Gillibrand, thank you very much. Thank you very much for working hard. Governor Hochul, wherever you may be up, this is a big day, that's right. Where is the governor? Good job. It's not an easy one, is it? But you're doing all right. We have to get a little money from the federal government, I have to tell you. It's about time. It's about time. Mayor Adams, good luck with everything. They went after you. They went after you, Mayor.
Mayor Adams, he's the guy in New York that I read the other day. I don't know exactly what happened, but I think that he's been indicted on a RICO. Same thing that Trump was indicted for down in Georgia. And so that's hilarious. So he's there and Trump's like, they got you. It's a big game. It's so crazy how the government has just been, I feel like, manipulated and used as this personal weapon to attack certain people. Because, I'll be honest with you, I don't think that anyone in any politician is doing anything different from other politicians. I mean, maybe there's some that are some bad apples, but I think it is really everyone is trying to get whatever personal gain they can get from it. And when I look at the whole perspective, I felt this way about Ross Perot. I'm old. I don't know if you guys remember Ross Perot, but he was one guy that I was like, man, this guy's already made his money. He's already a billionaire. He is he it seems pretty cool that he wants to become president to help the country and not for like personal gain. And I feel that way about Trump. I feel like his life would be so much easier if he just went back into his, personal field and ran his businesses and made a ton of money. Uh being the president is more stressful for him and more problems. And I think he is solely doing it to make America great. And because he has that infantry mindset. And I really appreciate that. All right, let me stop babbling. Let's get into it.
Yeah, boy, I do that. 9.5 months ago, I said, he just said something about it, about the administration. He's going to be indicted any moment. And guess what happened? But you're going to win. I think you're going to win. I know you're going to win. So good luck. Good luck. I don't like what they do. I don't like what they do. And also, distinguished guests, so many friends up here. It's great. A lot of great friends, some of my best friends. And you are right. They are distinguished and they are wealthy for the most part. A couple are having a hard time, but they're going to get over it. I also want to thank my very beautiful wife, and thank you for mentioning, but can you believe this? She did a book, and it's a really good book, and she worked hard on it, and it just became #1 on the New York Times list. So I think that's okay.
How many of my followers are avid readers? I joke on myself all the time. I am the opposite of smart. I'm not someone that claims to be super intelligent. I have to work really hard to understand things. My mind, my brain works differently from, a lot of people that are, you know, very intelligent, but that infantry mindset just really pushed me to read more. And the more I read, I think the more I gained understanding, and the better I process things. And I think that we underestimate the value of reading. With that being said, you guys can't see, but I've got a ton of books back here, and I read everything. I've read. It doesn't matter, what it is. The only thing I don't really get into that much is fiction. I'm not a big fiction guy. I'll go watch a movie if I wanna, think about something crazy, watch something crazy. But I like to read about history. I like to read biographies. I like to read business stuff, motivational things, things like that really not only are inspiring, but allows me to process. So with that being said, I'm gonna go out and get her book, and I'm gonna read it and see what she has to say. And maybe I'll do a quick video on, what I thought of it, key points and stuff like that. So I don't know why I brought that up. Shout out to her for writing the book, and I'm gonna read it just because Trump said it was good, and my faith is in Trump.
That's not an easy thing to do, especially when your name is Trump and you're on the New York Times list. That must be selling like hotcakes. But thank you for mentioning. I appreciate it. Good job you did. It's a true pleasure to be with you this evening. Amazing pleasure. And these days, it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. Anytime I don't get a subpoena, I'm very happy. They've gone after me, Mr. Mayor. You're peanuts compared to what they've done to me. And you're going to be okay. But I have to be careful, however, to understand that this will be the first time in the history of this event where jokes will be fact-checked, and they will be. And they will be. It's been a long tradition for both Democrat and Republican candidates for president of the United States to attend this dinner. It's a rule. You got to go to the dinner. You got to do it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen. But my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful to the event, and in particular to our great Catholic community. Very disrespectful.
Wow, I heard about that. So after this, I'm gonna look up Kamala Harris, because someone said that he might be talking about a video. Someone said that she created a video and sent it to them to play at the Al Smith dinner. For some reason she couldn't attend. That's a pretty big hit. I mean, if this is as big as as I think it is, and especially with the Catholic community. But it goes back to what I was saying about just in general, we don't talk about God anymore. We don't instill God in our life. We don't thank him enough. We don't realize that we are nothing without him. I don't push religion on people, but guys, if you think we're out here just roaming the earth and that's it, that's hey, I will, like I said before, I am the opposite of intelligent, but I'm smart enough to know that God is real, and I'm smart enough to know that he is the reason why we are who we are, and it is very important for us to recognize that and to try to live our life in a way that we know that would make him proud, whatever that may be. So that's very interesting that she didn't show up, but I'm ready for the jokes though.
Disrespectful. The last Democrat not to attend this important event was Walter Mondale, and it did not go very well for him. He lost 49 states and he won one, Minnesota. So I said, there's no way I'm missing it. Actually, it was not easy for me to get here tonight. God, I wasn't going to miss this thing, no matter, I didn't care. I wasn't going to miss it. But that's true. Walter Mondale, 49 and 1. He was expected to do well, and it didn't work out. It shows you there is a God. I mean, for those people that are questioning it, I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate, spending a lot of time hunting. In any event, it's a
You know what? That's hilarious because I saw a video the other day, and maybe I'll find it and put it in a clip. I'll do one of these.
Yeah, that's my theory. And it never fits quite right. Never fits quite right. Just not quite right. How do you give it back?
Governor, what kind of gun is it?
This is a Beretta A400. I bought it when I was shooting a lot of trap because it has a kind of their patented thing, a kickoff.
He couldn't even load a shotgun. And you think about this, right? And I joke, I'm infantry. I was active duty. Shout out to all the people out there that served in the National Guard, the Natty Guard, and the reserves. All the other entities that we have. But people gave me a little bit of slack because I didn't say it was true. I just said that JD Vance had mentioned where the guy was about to deploy to a combat area, and he dropped his papers and retired before deployed. And only thing I had said was, in the infantry world, if you have, and trust me, it's not a thing where big army, the next day it's just like you're deploying. What rotation you're in. You pretty much understand based on the trackers when your unit is up for deployment. So this is something months in advance he probably had an idea of what was going on. But that being said, he apparently retired and didn't go on deployment. And everybody's like, yo, but he served 30 some years in the National Guard. He paid his dues. He did, all this and this and that. And, shout out to him because regardless, 30 some years in any entity is a really big deal. And if you decided to serve your country, all my brothers and sisters that, signed that dotted line to serve their country, much respect to them. I don't care what you did in the military. You don't have to be an infantry person. But with that being said, they looked at his career and they said 30 some years, and he has never deployed to a combat zone. So he never was in action for 30 some years in the military. And what I say off of that is, national, and trust me, I have brothers that are in National Guard. And one thing about the National Guard and the reserve, those units still deploy, just like active duty. They still deploy, they still go out and they, still fight the good fight. He was around for, I'll just say that that's a long period of time to never deploy and never be in a combat zone. And then the one time that you do have to get to a combat zone to fight the good fight, and you've been in a unit, you've been with your people for this amount of time. And I think that National Guard, I think they stick with their units a little bit longer. Like for us, we rotate around. I believe National Guard sticks with their units. And also, they don't have to PCS the way that we do. Every 4 years, we're moving to a different state or even outside the country to do, our rotations, and we have to meet new units and we have to do new training. You know, for him, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, for all the National Guard people, he was in his location for 30 some years. He was still able to, work a job, whatever, for 30 some years, but at the same time was, getting paid by the government for, you know, being in the National Guard. And the one time that you have to go and fight the good fight with your brothers and sisters, it just so happens your retirement papers come in and you can't do that fight. That to me, it's a pride thing. It's not that he didn't do his time and his service. It's a pride thing to know 30 some years serving my country. Now I'm up for rotation. Yes, I'm going to retire, but before I retire, I'm going to go out and fight with my brothers and sisters because, that's what I signed up to do. So, mm, I don't know how you guys feel about that. Again, I don't want to, I'm not disrespecting the man. And I'm definitely not saying, that, active duty or infantry is better than anybody else. I'm just saying that it's a little shaky when you hear that. And then on top of that, you also hear about, him saying that he was in certain locations, and then it finds out he wasn't. And it's like, what are we talking about? If your career is your career, where you were is where you were, you know, I think it gets very shaky. The integrity level, needs to be checked when you're smart enough to run as our potential vice president. You're smart enough to know where you were at during certain periods. You're smart enough to know what you've been through in your history. If you tweak it to look better, to try to get support, and then you've been found out that, hey, it's not what you say it was, that's a big red flag for me, being who I am. If it's not a big red flag for you, God bless you. But for me, it is. So just throw that out there, and I'm gonna let Trump do his thing.
Weird, 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 weird. You know the word weird. They call me weird. They call JD weird. We're very solid people. This guy is calling us weird, but this was weird that the Democrat candidate is not here and with us tonight. I want to also congratulate somebody's going to make us all healthy. RFK Jr., we love you. I don't see him. He's campaigning all over the place. He's campaigning. You're all over. Hello, you both. Nice to see you both. You're doing a good job. He's a great guy, too. He really is. He's going to make us a healthier place. We're going to let him go wild for a little while. Then I'm going to have to maybe rein him back. Because he's got some pretty wild ideas, but most of them are really good, I think. He's a good man, and he believes the environment, the healthy people. He wants healthy people. He wants healthy food, and he's going to do it. He's going to have a big chance to do it because we do need that. I would not have missed the Al Smith dinner for anything in the world. I still remember coming here as a very young guy with my father, Fred. He was a great guy, my father. He was a tough cookie, but he had a very big heart. He was, anytime we'd walk down the street, and you don't see it too much anymore, there'd be people standing with tin cans, and he would always take out $100 and put it in that can. And I always thought it was beautiful. And frankly, I even think more so now it was beautiful because nowadays you don't see it so much. But I miss him, and we used to come here very religiously. And a great New York tradition, has been born 79 years ago. It was born 79 years ago, and there are some people that were here for almost that length. I know many of them, and it's not a pretty picture. Not a pretty picture. The two candidates for president are supposed to exchange good-natured barbs, and you know we get along very well. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit. You know, and now I say that she's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win, dispose of her, I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. It's true. I can't stand. I've never liked people that I was competing against. When you do, a lot of bad things happen. And we are doing well. By the way, the votes are starting to come in. You got to get out and vote. And Catholics, you got to vote for me. Just remember. You better remember I'm here. And she's not. I could have done that too. But you do something that's incredible. The Catholic Church, you're helping the poor, educating children, and supporting the vulnerable. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed. She would have been here. Guaranteed. She would have been okay. She would have been okay with that. But I know this isn't my normal crowd tonight, because it just isn't. It's not my normal crowd. Believe me, my normal crowd is younger, has a lot more energy, but you have certain advantages too, like cash, lots of cash. But many of you are Manhattan liberals from the media and the Democrat Party. I always say the Democrat, you know, Chuck, because it sounds much more beautiful, the Democratic Party. I always say the Democrat Party because it sounds worse. It is true. He likes Democratic. Why don't they just change the name? This way, you know, it is Democrat. But I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come, because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. We would recognize it any place in this room, and all polls are indicating I'm leading big with the Catholic vote, as I should be. As I should be. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. That's not a pretty sight. But Catholics, please don't be too insulted by Kamala's absence. If the Democrats, he says, thank you very much, I appreciate it. If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. You know, he's having second thoughts, you know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out. That's the guy. Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you, because I know him. He did it. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake. That term wasn't good. You know, they say that term is no longer in vogue because it's much worse than fake. I don't want to tell you what the real name is. I won't do it, because all those cameras would shut off immediately. They don't like that. But apparently Joe didn't think it was fair for me to have the podium to myself with Kamala skipping the event. So he called, looked at me, and said, don't. Does anybody understand that? Yeah. I thought it was actually very good until just now. It was announced this morning that at a funeral yesterday, in a rare moment of clarity, Joe told Barack Hussein Obama that, quote, only a few people got that. Or as Rush Limbaugh used to say, Barack Hussein Obama. Remember, bro? He was a piece of work. We miss him. But as he told Barack Hussein Obama, quote, she's not as strong as me. She's not as strong. Do you understand that? And Obama agreed, saying, that's true. Other than that, I think the Democrats are getting along quite well, right? Nobody got that one. The fact is, we need new leadership in this country. Right now, we have someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's said. There's a person that has nothing going, no intelligence whatsoever, but enough about Kamala Harris. Let's get on to something else. I know Kamala's word because she spends a lot of time complaining. I won't agree to another debate. But the truth is, I've debated twice this year, once against Joe Biden and once against David Muir of ABC. That was amazing, 11 times. None for the other side. Do you think that's fair news? I don't think so. That's fake news. I don't know what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. It's going to be very interesting. It just started. It's actually, isn't it sort of exciting? Right? It really, isn't it just exciting what's going on? It's a process. It's a rough process, too. Not so pretty, and yet sometimes very beautiful. But the press is reporting the Democrats are starting to panic. They're panicking. They are panicking because, you know, the votes that are coming in very, very strong, a certain way. I won't tell you what way that is, but Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. And I actually said, do you mind if I do that? And he said, no, you got to do what you got to do. He's a pro. He's a professional. No, he's a good man, actually. I hate to say it. Don't ever use it against me, please. I'll say this dinner was really setting me back when I say it now, but I've known him a long time. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me. And as you may have seen, Kamala did an interview on Fox News yesterday. It went so poorly for her that the Democrats have been forced to install another 100 drop boxes throughout the city. And the upside really is Kamala now sees the benefit of deportation. She wants to deport people. She's vicious. She wants to deport people, and she wants to start by deporting Brett Baer of Fox. It's an interesting interview last night. Huh? A major issue in this race is childcare, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one. That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough. Oh, I did. You know, they told me the last time I did this, I was running against crooked Hillary. And, I mean Hillary. No, I was running against crooked Hillary and I did it. And I thought it was a roast. So I was told it's a roast. And I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up. And man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard. Don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, you know, people are not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it. Campaigning can take a toll on a family and family life, although I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and the teleprompter that she uses quite well. And by the way, she wouldn't have liked this tonight if she was told about no teleprompter. I can't believe I saw a teleprompter. They said they've never had a teleprompter in the history of this dinner. I told that to the Cardinal, right? And then a teleprompter pops up for, he must be a very important comedian to get that. They give you one, but not me. How about that one? Huh? Come here. Yeah, and you did a good job. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time, and they shoot right. You know, they say about presidents, they say that Andrew Jackson was the president that was the most meanly treated. His wife died. She died of heartache. She was heartbroken at the way they treated him. And they say that second was Abraham Lincoln, but he was in charge of a civil war, you know. So, but those were the two, Andrew Jackson. Up until me, now they say it's not even close. There's never been a president that's been treated so badly as me, and our people aren't happy about it. But I was treated a little bit rough. But I don't mind it somehow, and I think it's just part of the game. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Walsh on Saturday Night Live. And that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts. It better be quick. We don't want him, and I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Walsh isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walsh. The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad. I know every one of them, and they are bad news, I want to tell you. And it doesn't do very well either. I always like to say, ratings are very important. When they don't do well, it doesn't do very well. As I look around today, as I see all of the usual suspects, for instance, Mayor Adams, I'd like to poke some fun at Eric, but I'm going to be nice. I just want to be nice because I know what it's like to be persecuted by the DOJ for speaking out against open borders. We were persecuted, Eric. I was persecuted, and so are you, Eric. The mayor's dietary restrictions are well known, but I've got to say, I've never met a person who's a vegan who liked turkey so much. There's something about him with turkey. I just found that out today. I haven't been in New York that much. Don't let it, but you're going to win, Eric. We have another former New York City mayor with us, frankly, easily the worst in our history. And it's not Michael, that I can tell you. I'm surprised that Bill de Blasio was actually able He did a horrible job. That's not comedy, by the way, that's fact. But unlike the rest of New York, at least Bill doesn't have to worry.
Man, I wonder what that joke was. They muted it. And I didn't get to see it. Man, put in the chat if you know what Trump was talking about just now.
About the criminals, they owe him big. He let them get away with a lot of stuff. Well, I'd better wrap up because Mayor Adams told me earlier that I needed to make this one very quick, especially the city has reserved this room for a large group of illegal aliens coming in from Texas. That's right, they've reserved many rooms, a lot of.
Shout out to Texas.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith Dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Cool. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Elliott. Mary Catherine Elliott. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now, I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I simmer them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't you see, man? We need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
What series was that from?
Oh, that's from House of Dragons, now streaming on HBO Max.
Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed, especially thy neighbor's election results.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Does it bother you that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
Haters gonna hate, hate, hate. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. Good for you, Mary Catherine.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also remember one more thing. Don't worry if you make a mistake, because Catholic people are very forgiving. Yeah, and also one last thing I want to tell you, don't forget to say, superstar!
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Mamala.
Thank you. Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith Dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship and come together to do some good by supporting the tremendous charitable work of the Catholic Church. The Church cares for the sick and feeds the hungry, supports families with housing and education, and in times of disaster, provides not only essential supplies, but also, and so importantly, a sense of hope. The Gospel of Luke tells us that faith has the power to shine a light on those living in darkness and to guide our feet in the path of peace. In the spirit of tonight's dinner, let us recommit to reaching across divides to seek understanding and common ground. And in honor of the great Al Smith, let us fight to build a better future with faith in God, our country, and in each other. Thank you. May God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.
All right. What do we think? What do we think? So first of all, I will say, man, Trump is funny. I got some good laughs off. I think did a really good job of just breaking the ice. He had a lot of people laughing, both sides, conservative and liberal. And I think overall, man, I was very impressed just to see how, what amazes me, he's got that infantry mindset. We've already kind of determined that. I've kind of explained what it is, why it's so important to have it, that grit, that integrity, that inside, something inside of you that just doesn't quit. When stuff gets hard, you just get harder. When the path it looks like it can't be overcome, you find a way to do it. You find a way to complete the mission. And I think one thing we can say about Trump, I heard this on a PBD podcast where he actually had a interview with Trump. If you guys haven't seen it, man, go out and look at that interview. I thought it was great. But Trump said, I've got a fertile mind, got a very fertile mind. It's a lot of things that we can do. And I believe that. And I think he's proved that. I don't think any presidential candidate has been out there on the road and did as many interviews and did as many things as he's done this election season to really show us that he's in shape. He's ready to do it. His mind works the right way. He knows what to do to complete the mission. And I think it's just further conviction for me to, keep fighting the good fight, keep explaining why in the military community, why we support Trump so much. And it's not just the military guys. You talk about the police officers, shout out to all of our people, all the guys in blue, all the females in blue. We love our police officers. I will tell you, I would dare to say that 98% of the police officer out here in America support Trump because they know who he is. And, you know, with that being said, I wanted to get some laughs off. I feel like listening to Harris, Kamala Harris, it just seems very fake. It seems like she is just doing it for the camera. It doesn't seem natural. I swear, even this election season, I've seen her views kind of change from being extremely liberal to, pushing borderline light conservative, really kind of, and it's just a lot of wish-wash and not knowing what she actually stands on. And I really, when I think of it, I think of just being a puppet that is just being controlled. And it scares me. And so it was really good to see. With that being said, I cannot wait. Like I said earlier, I can't wait for election day to get out there with my daughter, with my red hat, letting everyone know that, hey, I am going to do one of the most important things, one of the most important rights that we have, and that's our right to vote. Besides the right to bear arms, our right to vote, and really get out there and support, President Trump, and hopefully, God willing, November 5th, he will be our next president. We will make America great again, and we'll get this country back on track. With that being said, if you found any value in this episode, please like, share, subscribe. Leave me some comments, good, bad, doesn't matter. Just communicate. I'm okay with people that don't agree with me. For me, it's healthy debate. It's what we need. I've got friends on all sides. I've got very liberal friends, very conservative friends. Guess what? We're all friends. We all love each other. We all want, I believe in my heart, to make the country great again. We all have difference of opinions on how we're going to do that. So by all means, if you feel a different way, put in the comments. Let's have a healthy conversation. I hope everyone has a blessed day. With that being said, another episode of Infantry Mindset where we don't make excuses. We just do it. Until the next episode, God bless. Have a good day.
You will feel fatigue. You will feel fear. You will feel happiness. You will feel regret. You will feel sadness. At the end of the day, you will continue to breathe fire. Gonna go. Okay, with that said, you will take the operational instinct, and here's what I tell you to do, and it's almost one of those impossible tasks, but you gotta fight for it every day. You gotta use that operational instinct, and you gotta know what happens before it happens. You gotta stay methodical on the field. You gotta stay clear-headed on the field. You gotta work any resource as required to move like this, move methodical, and ensure you always have mutual support in position to effect the fight and bring fires as required to fucking kill the enemy. Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! Gonna go!